Hi everyone, I'm Zuli Vidal and I'm here in the Public Praise Studios joined by Richard Phillips and Carlos Del Santos of Exodus Rhythm. Welcome guys, so glad to have you here today.
Glad to be here.
Thank you.
Man, if you guys are reggae fans, you're in for a treat. Richard, I want to start off by asking you, how did you get into music? How did this Exodus Rhythm thing start? Like, I know our viewers are dying to find out a little bit about you.
Well, probably in 1965, I was in the Navy and I ended up in Montego Bay in Jamaica, Ocho Rios, and I heard this rhythm at the time. At that time, it was ska music, and it sort of stuck with me. And in the 70s, I met a good friend of mine that vacations in Jamaica, and he kept bringing back 45s and 45s of the latest. And this is when Studio One and Bob Marley and all those guys were coming out.
Yeah.
And so I listened to reggae. Then I went to my first reggae concert, and I goes, wow, this music's got a rhythm. And I started traveling with different reggae bands, Cool Runnings bands, across up and down the eastern part of the United States, in Jamaica and out of Jamaica, and cut my teeth on reggae, doing shows with the Wailers, the Mighty Diamonds, the Meditations, and all these bands. So it was in my head. It was in my head. But I never really, I didn't have the voice for it. I never came across. I wanted to get a strong message, and I sort of went through ups and downs.
Okay.
And then I met this brother a couple years ago, and I said, there's the songwriter, and there's the singer, and he has got a ministry called Beam to Christ, bring every available man beam, and he'll tell you more about that. But we've collaborated, and now we're working on an album, and we've got a studio in our place where we rehearse, and we're working together doing that. And most shows now are becoming concerts type things. So.
Yeah.
Sounds exciting. Carlos, tell me a little bit about like when you guys met, like your musical background. I want to know.
I know. Well, it's amazing how the Lord works, you know.
Yeah.
Always want to play in a band. Since I was a kid, I see people in the band, so I used to get excited. And never thought in my 40s I would be able to. I'm playing a band. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the Lord has been opening many doors for me. One day I was playing the guitar. I used to play the guitar in Boston in a parking lot. I used to go there 8 o'clock at night till 3 o'clock in the morning on my own van, just playing the guitar on the cold weather.
Wow.
Playing it. And one day I have one phone call to go play in Lynn, in the city of Lynn, and that's when I met Exodus Rhythm. So, you know, when God has a plan for you, He put things together.
Yeah, it was like a divine appointment. I believe it. That's awesome. So you were like dedicated
yeah, I was
musician.
looking for it. You know, I was looking for it. And today I have it, and I'm blessed with it. You know, today we have our own studio, and, you know, and I thank God to be able to be on a Praise TV today, you know what I mean? So, public Praise TV. So, this is God's truly working on our life.
Another divine connection, right? So tell me a little bit more about Beam, because I know he mentioned it, but I want to know a little bit more about that.
Well, Beam to Christ is a ministry. To tell you the truth, I don't know what is Beam to Christ, because it's big. You know, the vision is big, the ideas is big. So I really cannot tell you what Beam to Christ is about. It's just to bring every available man to Christ.
Okay.
In which way? So many ways.
So you're doing it through music, though, right?
Doing through music, doing through basically, you know, I support ministries in Uganda, orphanage children in Uganda.
Awesome.
Children's in Kenya. So, like I said, you know, Beam to Christ is a way to bring every available man to Christ.
Wow, that sounds amazing. So you told me a little bit about all these amazing bands that you got to play with. You touched a little bit on ska. Like, I know that when people talk about reggae and ska, they want to know, like, what's the difference? Tell our viewers a little bit about, like, what the difference between ska. I know ska's a little faster, but talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, ska in those islands, you know, in the Caribbean, Calypso, it's the ska. And the ska was a great band. They used to back up Bob Marley. studio one band called Scatolites, and they named it after a satellite. They just said they were calling it Scatolites for Scatolites.
Yeah.
And it can be, I heard it explained to me once, and I kind of liked it. It was like with ska, it's,
Okay.
and they cut the ska in half, and they made rock steady. And they cut the rock steady in half, and they made reggae.
Okay.
So it all comes under the banner of reggae. It all comes under the banner of reggae.
That's awesome.
So, yeah, and it's still popular. In Europe, they've taken ska, and the kids over there, the punks in Europe, they've done incredible things with it. The Class and the Specials, and have taken this Kingston ska / reggae. And I was like privileged to be in a band with Lloyd Nibbs, one of Bob Marley's original drummers, and
Wow.
yeah, it's been an experience. I've been on the bus with the Wailers, and and did open shows with them, and became friends with them. And
So if we saw your resume, it would look legendary. I love it.
yeah, but it's really nothing, because I was nothing then. When I gave my heart to Jesus, things changed.
Amen.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, so tell me
Things
about
change.
that. So you had all of these amazing experiences, and you were able to do more of the traditional reggae that we were familiar with, but you gave your heart to Jesus. Tell me about how that changed the music that you're doing now.
Well, a lot of people think, and I tell a lot of people this, that when you get on let's say, we get on a small tour bus, and we're going to go up and down the eastern seaboard, and we're going to go all the way up the Mississippi River and do all the reggae clubs and all the big colleges and universities along the way, and you end up at a huge club in Chicago called the Wild Hare, and you say, wow, this is really amazing, every man's dream. But after 2 days on that bus,
Yeah.
it's a different world. It's not so much fun, and all the time waiting for shows. Sometimes, and when I was living with the Cool Runnings band, sometimes they didn't go out for, a lot of times in the winter was very slow. In the summer, you work a lot. And I didn't like that. So when I gave my heart to Jesus, we started playing a lot of churches, wrote a lot of music, produced an album, and then I started meeting Annie in the band, and I met all these different people. We've had so many people come in and out, but it's a lot easier.
Yeah.
I mean, not without struggles. We're still human beings, and we have struggles. But I think when I gave my heart to Jesus, that changed things. And I'll let Carlos explain the same thing for how it affected him.
Well, when I was out there in the world, you know what I mean? I always want to sing, but I didn't want to sing the same thing that people always sing, you know what I mean? So I always hold myself on that. When I gave my life to Christ, and I started reading the Bible, New King James, and I didn't even speak English at the time.
Yeah.
And I'm just writing music out of the Bible, New King James. And all my songs that I have today is wrote about like 10 years ago.
Well, they've been teasing us enough. You guys are in for a treat here in the Public Praise Studios, where we're gonna actually have Richard and Carlos and just play some music for us, so stay tuned.
God bless. Hi, my name is Carlos dos Santos. This is my brother Richie, the founder of Exodus Rhythm, Gospel Reggae. If you want to see us, what we have to do and what we have to show, go to Carlos dos Santos on our Facebook page, or Beam to Christ Facebook page, BEAMTO Christ, all together. Praise God.
Thanks for having us, and look for Exodus Rhythm's new Facebook page.